So I remember almost during my pre-MBA days, there was a time when I was earning decently well, and I don't remember saving any of that amount. And frankly, looking back, I do not even remember where did all that money go. So hi, welcome to my channel, friends. And in this video, we are going to be sharing the first step to make more money. And it's a very interesting video because I'm going to share my own personal expenses. I'm going to be sharing my own personal numbers in this video. And it's very interesting video because I genuinely mean that the first step to making money is something else than what most people believe that it is. And if you have not hit on the subscribe button, feel free to hit on the subscribe button so that you get notified every time I'm actually making videos around wealth, consulting, and career advancement. Coming back on what is the first step to make more money. Typically people think, and I have been guilty of that when I was 21 or 22, my friends were earning, I would say, almost around 8-figure salary, and I started with a 7-figure salary. This is in INR, of course, and I always thought that the first step to make more money is to start with that 8-figure salary. So, and then of course, when I started earning 8-figure salary, I always thought when I would do an MBA and I would get an ROI of more than 50% or 60%, that's when I will become rich, which is such a flawed mindset when we start our career, that the first step to make more money is never ever the top line. Very interestingly, it is the bottom line. And I worked for 5.5 years before doing my MBA, and I think the entire debt that I had to take for an MBA was such a disciplinary measure that it really made me very disciplined. And I think today I could call myself decently wealthy. And before, even though I had earned decent amount for large 5.5 years, I really don't know where all that money went, because I was not disciplined with my money. I was not disciplined with my expenses. I was not really planning ahead. What would my monthly expenses look like, or where should my investments go? So largely, when I have to share what is the first step to making more money, it has to be around expenses. It is actually not around investments. It is not around earnings. Those two levers are equally important, and I have talked about them in depth around how to actually invest, how to actually earn more money. But in this video, I want to talk about not just the what, which is the power of actually planning your expenses and of actually putting a ledger for your expenses as well. And I'm going to be sharing my own expenses in this video. How do I actually plan? And largely, I'm going to be sharing what should you do and what kind of different profiles can exist when it comes to actually making more money, which is around more savings. So today I can afford an iPhone. I don't have an iPhone. I can afford a very decent car. I don't have a car. And I can afford my own home as well, but I still don't own a piece of land or own a home. And that's largely because I have not found a need for them. Whenever, of course, I will find a need for them, I will go ahead and make those purchases. But I'm a very minimalist person. Of course, when you will see my own expenses, and you may think that Shatakshi is not really minimalist. Shatakshi, this is extravagant. But truth be told, given the earnings, I'm still having a very minimalist lifestyle and a minimalist expenses. With that, let me share my own expenses. Please be mindful that they may look huge to you, but I would still suggest, to my mind, they're really relatively less than what my peers who are earning equivalent amount, who are making really having flamboyant lifestyle and making really huge expenses. So without further ado, let me actually share my screen, and I'm going to be legitimately share my own expenses. So as you can see, this is a Google Sheet that I maintain. As you can see, there is October, November, December. This is 2021, and this is January 2022, and this is Feb 2022. So I'm shooting this video on 21st of Feb, and these are my expenses all in INR. And I'm going to help you understand how do I think about things. So at the start of the month, I would have a budget that I do not need to go over and above this when I'm living, I'm having a good time, I'm going outside, rent, etc., right? So that's largely what I do. And this categorization, I think, is the key ingredient which has really helped me to actually become richer, which is around the fact that I would step back, and at the end of Feb, at the end of January, I would look and say that, hey, this thing didn't really work out, or this overshot my budget, and I really need to be more mindful when I'm creating my next month's expenses and when my next month's expenses would take place. So I'm in US right now. So mind you that all my expenses are taking place in dollars, but these numbers of course have been converted in INR. So my rent almost is around $800. So that is a stagnant, and trust me, my partner and I are living together here in US, Cambridge, and this is actually very much on the lower side of the spectrum. Ideally, this number for two people would actually look like somewhere around double of this number, so 1,20,000. But we actually found a very good steal deal here in Cambridge, because of which we are able to have a very decent lifestyle. Then we are both very much foodies. That means that I couldn't really afford to create two single bucket, which is food inside and food outside. So groceries, for example, is sitting here, which is $9,000, and food outside is very interestingly $6,000. Very interestingly, for example, the sheet is not updated. We went outside and had food for $30 yesterday. So I'm just quickly updating my sheet right in front of all of you. Then, of course, clothes. It's really winters. At times we go and do shopping. Then gift, for example, very recently we gifted. Gifts is a very separate category because we have family and friends. Their birthdays keep coming up. We do not want to forget. At the same time, we do not want to actually be such a miser that we are not gifting people on their birthdays and their anniversaries. And very interestingly, this is gym for me. I recently purchased a gym membership because I realized that in my life I wanted to be not just wealthy but healthy and happy as well. And I made a very separate video on work-life balance. Feel free to check that out. But coming back to health, I realized that at least in terms of self-imposition or becoming just having our own routine, I was just fixing myself to yoga, which is great, and I always advertise and advocate about yoga. But in terms of just sheer weight loss, I realized that I had to get a gym membership. So this is, I would say, my monthly gym membership, and which is very surprising. It's one of the best gyms here, and it is, to my mind, based on my calculation, really cheaper than the kind of gyms I would get in New Delhi or Bombay. And last but not the least, this is a very new separate expense item that I have started incurring, and being very honest and candid with you all. We do not have a home, we have a home in Cambridge, we do not have an office here in Cambridge. And that means that for a very long period of time, I was eating, I was sleeping, I was working, and I was also doing my yoga in just one single home. And that, I think, after a point of time was just taking away my productivity. At times I was just sleeping at odd hours, and I didn't really want to sleep at odd hours. So what we found was there is a very interesting coffee shop near my place, and I could just get the coffee for $4.50 and work there for 4-5 hours. I know, how cool is that, right? Of course, then you may ask, Shatakshi, if you're going there even for 30 days, for the entire month, 30 into 4, $280, that's what my expense is. But truth be told, net, if I'm being more productive, right? And I can convert that productivity into more earnings for myself, then it is worth the expense. And in very true candidness, it took me almost 3 days of decision making. Should I incur this expense or not? Even though it is just $4 on a daily basis, but it is recurring in nature. Going every day is a very, I would say, pessimistic scenario, because I don't end up going every day. I would say I go up 5 days a week, and 2 days I stay here or I go outside to chill and relax somewhere else as well. But what am I trying to show through this video? So for example, if you can see, this is 21st of February and my expenses are sitting somewhere around 84,000, and my upper cap on a monthly level is 1 lakh for two people. This is not just me, this is my partner and my expenses on a monthly level. And that's what I mean, right? We are living in US, we are living in Cambridge, and we do not want to live just without enjoying our life, but we also did not want to just not create a ledger of our expense. So I'll stop my screen, but I'll also help you understand what am I really trying to convey through sharing my own expenses. You may be someone who is a content writer and who is earning just 10,000 rupees on an internship. Please create a ledger, right? You would, trust me on this, you would not even realize where all that money went, right? You would not even realize that you earned 1,20,000 in an entire year. So please make sure that you have a ledger. You could be a mid-career starting professional working as an analyst, and you're earning somewhere around 40,000 per month to 50,000 a month. That is exactly how I started my career almost 10 years ago, and I did not have a ledger. I do not actually legitimately know where did all that money go. For my first job, I think it was an emotional decision. I bought a very cool jacket to my brother, which costed 11,000 rupees. I was earning 35,000. I purchased a gift worth 11,000. There was a lot of emotional attachment because my brother has he's an elder brother to me, and he has done so much for me during my early days in my career, guided me, and I definitely wanted to just share how happy I am to be guided by him. But truth be told, now that I am earning decently well, I don't think I would, not just to my brother, to my own self also, I would not gift 11,000 bucks INR money gift to someone else, which until or unless, of course, there's an exception, etc. So largely what am I trying to convey through this entire video is that the first step to making more money is to not earn more, is to not invest more, is to make sure that you are having a ledger of your expenses on a monthly level. I know it can take time. So rather than, for example, having an Excel sheet, I have a Google document. So for example, I'm at this restaurant and I realize that we have eaten for, let's say, $20, and right after coming out of the restaurant, I will open Google Sheets. It's actually there on cloud. I will just quickly enter that is $20 for eating outside, right? And with time, you will start realizing that few items are more common or recurrent in nature in terms of purchases, and few items are less common. So for example, gym access has, as a category, has started in February for me, and it's going to be recurring expense. It was not there for Jan, December, November of last year, right? So you have to be mindful which are the categories, and you also have to, if I were to become a little cute with the details, right, I would also plot a graph and see, hey, are certain expenses really going out of my hand, and see if it's an increasing graph or it's a stagnant graph or it's a decreasing graph. That is, my friends, really is the number one step to create more wealth. I hope you found this video helpful. I know that you may think, but Shatakshi, this is not something new. I know that this is not something new, but trust me, doing this on a daily basis is something new that I'm very sure that 99% of you are not doing, and that's the key reason why only 1% of the people create that wealth and hold on to that wealth. There's a very nice quote in Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, who says that we are living in such uncertain world, in such uncertain times, that many a times people ask me, Morgan Housel in that case, that why are you saving so much money? You can afford a really great home, you can afford a really fantastic cars such as Tesla, but you are not going ahead and making those expenses. The truth of the matter is the world is becoming even more uncertain than it used to be. So you would always want to hold money for either investments or just pure play cash, so that in case of emergency, you are not breaking your investments, or you're not going outside and taking a loan or taking a debt. That's all my time with you. I hope you find this video helpful. Please take care and stay safe.